All right, here's our second example, graphing rational functions, asymptotes, intercepts, and we're also going to state the domain and range for this function. So let's go ahead and get those asymptotes right off the bat. So now for this one, notice the degree of the bottom is larger than the degree of the top. So as you put bigger and bigger numbers into this, the bottom's going to grow much faster than the top. So this is going to approach a value of 0 as you go toward negative infinity or positive infinity. So let's sketch that in. Again, I know that's kind of hard with pencil, to see it show up. That's why we label things. It's important. I'm using pen again, just so it shows up a little better in these videos. I recommend pencil when you do math. So there's that horizontal asymptote, okay? And even on there, it doesn't show up really well, right? But you can see it. And again, that's why I labeled it out here so we could tell what it was. How about vertical asymptotes? Well, that comes from our denominator. So if you solve this denominator, a couple ways. You could factor it, x plus 2, x minus 2, or just set it equal to 0, add your 4, square root both sides. So we've actually got vertical asymptotes at x equals plus or minus 2. So we've got two vertical asymptotes in this case. So let me sketch those in. So there's our first one there, x equals negative 2, and also on the positive side, so x equals positive 2. Remember, we just put those in, nice dashed lines there. Okay, so this graph's going to look a little bit different than our last one. Let's go ahead and get intercepts. So, x-intercept, there's only one, that comes from the top. And that's where the top equals 0. And so it's going to be positive 1. So right there, at x equals 1, that's our x-intercept. Y-intercepts, remember, that's where you plug zeros in for your x. And it's going to be 1/4. So about right in there, looks like it's going to be. Okay, now we just need some points, just enough to kind of paint a picture and see what's going on. Again, I'm going to turn to my calculator for that. And so I've got my calculator here. And again, I know that's trying to put it somewhere where we can maybe see it. That's probably okay. And so let's just go right to the graph, kind of get a feel for what it looks like. All right, so it's doing this over here, up against that asymptote. In the middle, it comes and goes down, and then up here. So kind of get a vision for what's happening. So we've already got a little bit going on the middle. Let's just maybe get another point over here. Like, let's do negative 1 in my trace menu. It's about 2/3. So that's going to be, what, somewhere in here. And you can tell from the graph, it shoots up, vertical, goes down. So that's enough. I'm just going to kind of sketch this in. Something like that, kind of show what it's doing. Not too bad, right? Couple points there. Okay, let's get a couple points out here either side, and just enough so we can see what's happening. How about negative 2.5? I'm just trying things. So at negative 2.5, it's about negative 1.5. So negative 2.5, it's about negative 1.5. So I got a point about in there. How about negative 4? It's negative 5/12. So we are about in here. And honestly, that's probably enough. We know what it's doing. It's going like that, right? It's going to hug that asymptote, hug that asymptote. So let's go over here to the opposite side and get just a couple. So what if we go like 2.5? So it's about 2/3. So it's about right in there. And how about 3.5? It's about 0.3. And again, we know what it's doing, so I'm just going to sketch it in. It's doing that, and it's doing that. That didn't look super good. It's got a little more of a curve to it right there. Okay, going up. But there's our graph, really. That's all we need to see. Now, big thing here, though. Let's state that domain and range, okay? So for our domain, what's going on? Well, we've got two breaks here. So it's everything up to here, everything in between, everything here. So let's list that out. So we've got negative infinity up to -2. Then we've got that break, right, because our asymptote. And then we've got -2 to +2, and then another break. And then we're going to go to positive infinity. All right, so there's the domain. We needed a couple unions to describe that. How about the range? Excuse me. So the range, we've just got that one horizontal asymptote in the middle. So everything up to here, then everything above it. Actually, you know what? It crosses, and so it actually hits right there. So our range for this one is going to be all real numbers. So even though there is a horizontal asymptote, remember, you can cross those, and this one does, right here in the middle. So the range of this is actually all real numbers. Okay.